Romalotti Jr., I will never, ever forgive you for this.
We might have a lead on what happened to Lily.
We feel like we should check it out.
Yeah, of course. Do whatever it takes to keep the family safe.
So Matt Clark is free.
Just disappeared. Once he was released, he took off.
That means he could be anywhere. He could be on this ranch. How is this happening again?
The Young and the Restless. YNR. Spoilers update for the week of March 2nd to 6th indicate that Diane Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters, will do whatever it takes to get Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, back after a crisis hits. Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, will also fume once Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, forces him into a terrible decision. So let's talk about what's ahead on YNR. After Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, tells Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, that she's done with Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, that could open the door to a conversation about the love that's lingering between Kyle and Claire. Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, may also suspect things aren't over for good between Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, and Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, so she may warn Daniel Romalotti Jr., Michael Graziere, about that after questioning him. Over with Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, his proposition for Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, won't get the response he was hoping for. After some new threats are delivered, Kane will strike a dirty blow. While Phyllis deals with that, she'll also make another effort to repair her damaged relationship with Daniel. Of course, Daniel will probably refuse to budge unless Phyllis signs Newman Enterprises back over to Victor. In the meantime, Victor will work on a different plan to get Chancellor back. It'll involve abducting Jack and holding him captive somewhere, so Billy is in for a shock. Billy will be expected to return Chancellor by nightfall. He ever wants to see his brother again. Victor will spell out his terms before Billy takes the shocking Jack news to Diane and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer. Even if Billy's resistant to the idea of striking this deal, Kyle will have a few tricks up his sleeve. Since Kyle will assume Claire's not going to approve of Victor's actions, he'll likely bring her up to speed and ask if she can change Victor's mind about Jack's hostage situation. As for Diane, she'll make some bold moves of her own during her search for Jack. Diane may start by ripping into Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, over Victor's drastic plan and pushing her to do something. There'll also be some drama involving Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, who'll go MIA on his loved ones. Sharon and Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, will have concerns when they can't get in touch with Nick, who may be off working on Matt Clark's Roger Howarth setup. Nick will be back in the picture with Sharon later when they get a frightening message. It could point to danger for Noah and Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, if Matt figures out Nick's setting a trap instead of giving him $5 million. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Matt will remain a manipulative monster, so don't miss the horror to come. Confrontation. Victor makes his demands clear to Billy, Chancellor for Jack. He backs Billy into a corner, giving him an impossible choice. Sacrifice your claim to the company you fought to reclaim, or live with the guilt of your uncle's death. The move is classic Victor, a brutal, Machiavellian chess move designed to reclaim his power and decimate his enemies in one fell swoop. He shows no remorse, no hesitation, demonstrating that his thirst for victory has completely overshadowed any remaining shred of morality. The week of March 2nd, 2026, marks a terrifying turning point in Genoa City as the long-simmering feud between the Abbott and Newman families explodes into outright criminality. Victor Newman, in a move that shocks even his own family, crosses a moral line he has rarely approached before, resorting to the ultimate leverage: kidnapping. For Diane Jenkins Abbott, the week becomes a desperate, heart-stopping race against time to find her husband, Jack, whose life now hangs in the balance of a high-stakes corporate blackmail plot. The horror begins to unfold on Monday, but it isn't until midweek that the full, terrifying scope of Jack's disappearance becomes clear to those who love him most. For Diane, the early part of the week is filled with a nagging sense of unease. She is seen at the Abbott mansion, trying to maintain a sense of normalcy, though the absence of her husband is a palpable void. Her instincts, honed by a lifetime of navigating treacherous waters, tell her something is deeply wrong, but she has no proof. Meanwhile, her stepson, Kyle, is dealing with his own complicated feelings, sharing a drink with Claire Newman at Society and discussing the ever-present tension with Audra, unaware that his family is about to be shattered by Claire's own father. The bomb finally drops on Wednesday, March 4th. Billy Abbott, who has been entrenched in his own battle to maintain control of Chancellor Industries, arrives at the Abbott mansion with a look of grave urgency. He finds Kyle and Diane, and the expression on his face prepares them for the worst. The news he delivers is beyond anything they could have imagined. Billy reveals that he has been in direct contact with Victor, who issued a chilling and non-negotiable ultimatum: hand Chancellor Industries back to the Newman Empire by the end of the day, or the Abbotts will never see Jack again. Kyle is immediately thrown into a state of disbelief and fury. "Victor Newman kidnapped my father?" he exclaims, the words feeling foreign and terrifying as they leave his mouth. The realization that the mustache has once again resorted to kidnapping, this time for real, with one of Genoa City's most beloved patriarchs, sends shockwaves through the Abbott living room. As the week progresses, Diane transforms from a wary wife into a woman possessed by a singular mission. Thursday and Friday see her going to great lengths, utilizing every resource and connection she has to scour the city for any sign of her husband. Her frantic search is fueled not just by love, but by a chilling understanding of Victor's ruthlessness. She knows that if he is desperate enough to kidnap Jack, he is desperate enough to follow through on his threats. Her mind races through possibilities. Is Jack being held in a dark corner of Newman Ranch, at some forgotten property Victor owns? Or is he somewhere far less savory, trapped and alone with no idea if help is coming? The not knowing is its own special form of torture. She tries to remain strong for Kyle and the rest of the family, but the fear in her eyes is unmistakable. This is a nightmare she wouldn't wish on her worst enemy, and it's happening to the man she loves. While Diane is living every wife's worst nightmare, Jack is experiencing his own personal hell. The spoilers for the week tease a rude awakening for the Abbott patriarch. One can imagine Jack, perhaps having let his guard down after a period of relative peace, finding himself ambushed and subdued. His awakening is not in his own bed, but in a cold, unfamiliar, and likely dark place. The initial disorientation gives way to a dawning horror as he realizes the gravity of his situation. He is a prisoner. The world he knows, his family, his company, his wife, feels a million miles away. As Friday progresses, Jack's world truly spins out of control. He is completely at the mercy of his captor, with no means of escape and no knowledge of the deal being brokered for his freedom. For a man who has always been a pillar of control and influence in Genoa City, this helplessness is perhaps the cruelest punishment of all. Victor, meanwhile, operates with cold, calculated precision. Having been ousted from his own company by Phyllis and Kane, he is determined to reclaim his empire by any means necessary. His time, out of town, was clearly spent laying the groundwork for this heinous act.